Welcome to In Focus with me, Thabo Mjuni, tonight. Thank you for joining us with the local government elections less than 2 weeks away. We thought tonight let's turn the spotlight on the Mangaung Metro Municipality in the Free State. A bit of background: the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality governs Bloemfontein and surrounding towns in the Free State. The city has been downgraded by rating agencies Moody's twice. The executive mayor there, Mlamleli, ousted through a motion of no confidence in 2020, and May 2021, residents embarked on a shutdown demanding better service delivery. In August 2021, former Mangaung Speaker Mxolisi Siyonzama is elected as the executive mayor there. Led by successive ANC majority governments, municipalities has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Major challenges of service delivery, internal party squabbles and contestation, and in 2019 the municipality was placed under administration. Mangaung Metropolitan Council consists of 100 members elected by mixed member proportional representation. Let's give you a breakdown of what those seats look like. The ANC with 58 seats in that metro, the DA with 27 seats, and EFF 9, EFF plus, or rather FF plus 2, AIC with 2, and COPE with 1, and Agency for New Agenda with 1 seat. There are 50 elected by first past the post voting in 50 wards. The remaining 50 are chosen from party proportional lists. In August 2016 municipal elections, the ANC won a majority of the 58 seats on that council. That's the lay of the land. Here to speak to us now about those challenges, we are joined hopefully by the ANC, who are having challenges coming on. But so far on the panel, we have Hardie Viviers, leader of the DA in the Mangaung area. Councilor Barnard Mononyane also trying to come on. ATM Chairperson in the Free State, Pani Twala, and Patriotic Alliance mayoral candidate Kevin van der Ross, as well as EFF Mangaung Regional Chairperson Gopolang Lipale. You're a part of this conversation tonight. We'll take you on and take your questions live. 072-110-5584 if you send that WhatsApp message right now, or otherwise you can tweet us at Newzroom405. We'll get into your tweets as well as your questions tonight. Gentlemen, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and joining us tonight here on In Focus to talk on the issues plaguing the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality. Hardie, let me start with you as the majority opposition there. The Auditor General saying there is deliberate lack of accountability by political and administrative leadership in the Free State generally. 23 municipalities owing Eskom and local water boards more than 10 billion rands. Mangaung being one of those municipalities owing Eskom and water boards, and we'll get into the details. But Treasury writing to the Mangaung municipality saying they are in a precarious financial and service delivery performance situation. They're failing to control operating expenditure. There's poor revenue collection and failure in corporate governance. As the opposition, what have you done? Because this, of course, happens while you are also in council.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity, and good evening, viewers. Yes, what have we done in the past? I think the first important thing, and you've spoken earlier about keeping people accountable, it was the Mangaung Caucus who supplied the information to our members in the provincial legislature with reference to the 255 million asbestos roof scandal. This led now to a criminal case that was opened for corruption, and indeed 2 of the accused is the former Premier, Shule, and the former Mayor, Mlamleli. If I might continue further, we also supported the motion of no confidence against Mlamleli. By doing that, and we placed a lot of pressure, we kept her accountable for her failures as the political head of this metro. We also kept the head of the administration, the previous municipal manager, accountable for all his failures due to the disciplinary procedures that we instituted against him, which had the effect that he resigned. Currently, we have also instituted disciplinary processes against the head of the department, waste removal and fleet management, which unfortunately the ANC-led political arm of this municipality have not placed before council. And furthermore, they are surely also not complying with legislation. Then yesterday, and I think we are all aware of it, you referred to the writ of the National Treasury, the implementation of the Metro Police was also halted. Just confirming what we've been asking all along, the fact that this municipality effectively, with our precarious financial situation, cannot afford a Metro Police to start off with. The harsh reality is that we've voted against that as from 2016. Up until now, educated guess, the Metro Police cost this Metro 250 million. We also alluded the whole time about several risks with the Metro Police, with reference to the Civilian Oversight Committee, and then also that there's a risk of employment, and that some of those enforcement officers have criminal records.
All right. Hardie, let's give the EFF, the other party in opposition in the Metro, an opportunity to weigh in. How have you used your 9 seats, Gopolang, to hold those in power accountable in this Metro that is plagued by financial mismanagement, with irregular expenditure coming to the billions, and qualified audits outcomes, and the Auditor General saying in general there is a lack of accountability by political and administrative leadership?
Good evening to you and the viewers at home. Yes, the EFF passed a motion of no confidence against the mayor of Mangaung, which is Ms. Olimlamleli, and successfully so, and correctly so. You are saying there's a level of unaccountability in Mangaung. There's a 400 million rand taxi rank in the hub of Bloemfontein, which of course is just a white horse that is sitting there. Nothing has been done about it. There's a 37 million Hoffman Square, which was renovated without any use, any accountability, because at the end of the day, when you stand at the Hoffman Square, there isn't anything that you can say. There is 37 million that was spent there for renovation, which, quite frankly, there was no need for that renovation. People have to wait for 4 years, 10 months to see some changes within the city. There isn't anything that is happening with regard to that. There is this Howwing, that is, we call the bus, that is now taking place today.
Yeah.
People of Mangaung have to now pay for that.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part of it that Mangaung, as we speak, does not even have money. There isn't anything. There is no money in Mangaung. The city of roses has become a city of darkness.
Gopolang, talk to us a little bit more about that integrated transport network in the Metro. Developed and approved in terms of the operational plan, 709 million rands has been spent. What does the Metro have to show for it?
There's absolutely nothing to show for it. Unfortunately, the Mangaung municipality has to now cough out a lot of money. Unfortunately, that money isn't going to, it will just be a wasteful expenditure, because there isn't even any road that the very same buses that is going to move, because there's a lot of potholes within the city itself.
Right.
There isn't anything. Everything is just going to be a wasteful expenditure.
So where has the 709 gone? I mean, in terms of council and the reporting in council, they said they're doing feasibility studies, they're preparing roads and so on and so forth, and building bus stops. Where has that money gone? 709 million. That's what the Auditor General says. It's gone. It's been spent. What has it been spent on?
That's a very good question. You cannot, there is, like you already said, there's a level of unaccountability. That is a very good question. Politicians have pocketed the money. It is another way of looting the municipality. The Hauweng thing was just another way of looting the money. That is the only way we can put it, unfortunately.
We'll come back and get a little bit more from the opposition parties on this particular issue and, of course, other issues that have been raised in the Auditor General's report. Let's hear your views tonight, whether you think the ANC should be given another term in this administration or any of the parties represented tonight. We've got COPE, we've got ATM, we've got Patriotic Alliance, we've got the DA and the EFF should be given a chance in that metro. 072-110-5584. We'll take you live tonight in our mayoral debate and hear your views. Welcome back. You're live with us tonight. You're on In Focus elections coverage and the focus on Mangaung tonight. And we did reach out to the ANC. They gave us a representative, but now we're told they've been called into a meeting, so they are not going to be represented in this conversation tonight. However, we do have the Democratic Alliance represented by Hardie Viviers. We've got COPE represented by Barnard Mononyane, ATM Chairperson Pani Twala, Patriotic Alliance mayoral candidate Kevin van der Ross, as well as EFF Mangaung Regional Chairperson Gopolang Lipale. We've got you as well tonight on 072-110-5584 to give us your views on how that metro has been run. Kevin and Pani, I'm going to bring you in here. Kevin, let's start with yourself. I mean, literally what you are coming into, this is what the Auditor General says, there is material uncertainty that exists that may cast significant doubt on the municipality's ability to continue as a going concern. You are taking over, if you win, a metro that is literally bankrupt with no possibility of it as a going concern. I mean, what are you going to do to turn this ship around, Kevin?
Good evening. Thanks. Good evening. Thanks for having me in the first place. First of all, the PA is advancing a candidate in myself with audit and forensic credentials. The whole idea is to vote in a change in administration so we can really have the people who have gone before us out. The municipality is in a dire state. Things are not good. We are back. We didn't have Makufe, so we are in a state of we really need change. First things first, all municipal debts, the PA stance on that is all debt will be written off to zero. If the state can afford to give bailouts to enterprises during a pandemic, then the ordinary citizen can be granted such relief. Now, where the municipal manager has confirmed that all avenues to collect outstanding debts have been exhausted, according to Section 1092, the council can, is it 12C of the Act, the council can withdraw all procedures of debt collecting. Yeah. So there is the possibility of writing all of all debts.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're coming into a metro that's literally bankrupt by all accounts. In fact, they are running at a deficit. And the first kind of approach you will take is to write off all debt that is owed to the metro.
Yes. That is the directive. That is our manifesto. We have to come to a position where we have to, how can I put it? We need to, if we say we encourage the people to pay, the electricity tariffs have been so high, people are suffering, even in households where we have more than 3 people working. People are really struggling with the high electricity prices. So we need to come to a position where we write off all debts, and that is the PA stance on that.
And how are you going to fund the water, sanitation, waste management and transport issues? Because these are the local government issues, the housing issues, the water issues, the electricity issues, sanitation issues, waste management issues, which are being ignored by the looks of things, according to to the way that the Metro has been spending its money. We heard that from Hardie, they want to spend close to 215 million on Metro Police, which they've been told by Treasury, they've even been told by the Deputy President, who is leader of government business, that this is not a viable thing to do and must not be done, and yet that's what they're doing. So how are you going to raise money?
First of all, obviously the middle class and upwards, we need to encourage people to pay. I'm not talking about the poor per se, because like I said, we want to write off their debts. But the middle class and upwards, we need to encourage them to pay all debts. We have to hold whoever was before us accountable for, if we look at the corruption, the looting of money, we need to hold them accountable so we can have a means to move forward from here.
Pani, let's bring you in then. Patriotic Alliance, they will scrap all debt, hold those who were in administration previously accountable, and those who can pay must pay. And that's how they're going to turn this ship around. How are you as the ATM going to turn things around?
Good evening, Tabo, and good evening to the Newzroom Afrika listeners at home. As the African Transformation Movement, we have done some background check with regards to the situation that is currently taking place in this municipality. And I can say to you that with what we have seen so far, it has also been noted in our manifesto through the development of the 5 transformational pillars and the 2 enablers that we have in our manifesto. The first one states that we are planning to build a corrupt-free, accountable, and capable municipality. A transformed municipality, peaceful, ethical, and economical, viable local government. That is the first point that I think it also relates to the current situation in the Mangaung municipality. Our second pillar is all about enhancing the local economic development that supports job creation and rural economic development. What we're going to do is to prioritize capacitation of cooperatives and other local SMEs. We're also going to support, upskill, and assist with marketing of emerging farmers.
Yeah.
Our third pillar states that we're going to provide an integrated, sustainable human settlement supported by reliable basic services and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Also, of which I believe it does relate to the situation in our municipality.
Right.
The fourth pillar states that our intention is to capacitate and scale the communities with focus on empowerment of women, youth, and people living with disabilities.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 pillars that we have stated in our manifesto, of which whereby when we look at the situation currently in our municipality, we believe that the ruling party has failed dismally to provide such issues, to provide solution to such issues.
But you see, Pani, I think those pillars are very good pillars. If you are inheriting a metro, probably that is functioning and working properly. Here's the challenge that I'm putting to you. You've got a national caucus saying that what they've found in the municipality is that they are operating at a deficit. In fact, they are facing financial risk. Something needs to be done. It's almost like an emergency, right? Your pillars are great, and they'll probably work. But what are you going to do coming into this situation? This is what you're inheriting.
Tabo, the first and most important issue in terms of trying to resolve that kind of a situation within our municipality is to make sure that we promote local economy, uplift our local economy. And we try by all means to deal with unemployment issues that are being experienced by the community of Mangaung.
All right.
Because I believe that is one of the contributing factors in terms of the failures being given up by the municipality, whereby we see more unemployed people being concerned about the basic service delivery that is being paid by the municipality.
Right.
So if we can try by firstly resolving the unemployment issues, whereby in cases like when there are projects in different communities, in different wards in Mangaung, in those projects, the first priority should be given to the community and the people living in that ward.
All right.
In that way, we will also be contributing to the fact of trying to reduce unemployment rate that is currently taking place in our community.
Well, there you are.
The other factor will be...
I'll come back to you, and then you'll give us the other factor. I want to bring in Tate Mononyane. Tate Mononyane, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the line. It seems the Metro is failing to contain expenditure. I mean, if you look at the material impairments being outlined by the Auditor General, unauthorized expenditure at 1.4 billion, up from 1.3 billion in 2019. This is because of overspending over the approved budget. How has this been allowed to happen while you are also in council?
Yes, indeed, we have been in council. We are still part of Mangaung Council. We make efforts to speak to other councillors in the council and to make sure that items that come are being scrutinized and to make sure that they are in line with what the regulations want us to be. And the ones that are not in line, we do not vote in favor of them. We have been always voting against them with the purpose and understanding that they will be sent back for ratification. But we have found ourselves faced with a problem of our fellow councillors from the ANC. They will just push with their majority numbers to approve even things that are wrong. As a result, this has led to a point where we find ourselves in this situation where there is a lack of accountability, lack of law implementation in order to make sure that projects that are being done or work that is being done on behalf of the municipality, it is done in terms of the law, as the laws require us to be. There is just a spending without accountability. That's where the problem is. This is where has led us this quickly. But we are aware of the sinking ship of Mangaung, and we must rescue the Mangaung out of the depths that is facing. We must make sure as we come back into the Mangaung, leading this Mangaung municipality, we make sure that our debt collection facilities are well in place and they are followed to the last. And also to encourage all the communities of residents of Mangaung, those who are able to pay, they must pay for the basic services that are required. That would help us a lot, much as we would also be making sure we market the Mangaung to make sure that its economy grows. And when the economy grows, that would create jobs for the residents in order for them to be able to pay for the service.
Where will those jobs be coming from, Tate Mononyane? If we look at the breakdown, currently the biggest employer in Mangaung is government, right? It's social services, the next being the financial sector to an extent. Where do you see those jobs being created?
Some of the jobs, Mangaung itself, the municipality itself, this system of outsourcing the services to private service providers, it has impacted negatively in Mangaung to an extent where refuse removal are outsourced. A number of services that were provided by Mangaung itself. You talk of water and sanitation. If we insource those services, you would be able to create the employment for a number of people who would be able to provide services on time to the residents where there is a need. And when services are provided, definitely the users would be able to pay.
Yeah. So in your plan, government will be the primary employer, so it seems. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll bring in the other parties as well and hear what their rescue plan is. What are your thoughts tonight? You can give us a shout, 072-110-5584, tweet us at Newzroom405. Remind you again, we did invite the ANC to be a part of this conversation tonight. They provided a representative, but told us now that they've been called into a meeting, and so they've pulled out of this debate tonight. Right, we're back with you tonight on In Focus, our mayoral debate with a focus on the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality. Hardie Viviers, leader of the Democratic Alliance in the Mangaung Caucus, co-councilor Barnard Mononyane, ATM Chairperson Pani Twala, Patriotic Alliance mayoral candidate, Kevin van der Ross, as well as EFF Mangaung Regional Chairperson Gopolang Lipale. And of course, we've got you as well on 072-110-5584. We'll come to your tweets and your WhatsApp messages in just a moment. Let's go back to our panel tonight. Hardie, there is a challenge of underspending of conditional grants, right? Underspent on the urban settlement development grant, for example, by 233 million, on public transport infrastructure by 103 million. What is your solution to this question of underspending on improving informal settlements? I mean, the Democratic Alliance, for example, in Tshwane has also been flagged as underspending on the upgrade of informal settlements.
Thank you very much. Well, it was the Democratic Alliance who clearly mentioned the underspending of many of these national grants that we have received, that was noted by the Auditor General. I think one of the biggest problems, and I will allude to the figures later if you give me the opportunity, but I think the problem in Mangaung is that all the monies, grants that are being received, paid into one bank account, and I think to a large extent the most of that goes out to pay salaries, pay for SMMEs, pay for tenders. We clearly noted it, and we also warned in the previous Auditor General report that we must utilize the grants and utilize them correctly. But unfortunately, housing in Mangaung stays a problem. Now, the DA in his manifesto clearly mentioned that we must collaborate for sustainable housing. And the second word is sustainable housing. It doesn't help to just give somebody a house, but don't give them the skills, for example, to build a house themselves. Furthermore, a government, the state, will never have enough money to supply in all the needs of housing. It's just impossible. That's why you must collaborate. That is why you must take hands with private partners. That is why you must collaborate with the province, for example. As the DA, we specifically a week ago have shown a piece of land that currently belongs to the provincial government, where a huge tent is always put up for the Makufe festival, but it's lying there. It's vacant land. It's the ideal piece of land. If the local government and province will just make it available for proper housing. And that is the best way that I can answer you. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of factors playing. You have referred to certain grants of the DA not being spent properly. I think we should be realistic that in some of those local governments, we are in coalition. We are not necessarily calling all the shots. Our budgets are not necessarily being approved. What is true at the end of the day is that we are the only party that has a proven track record that where we govern in totality, like in the city of Cape Town, the Midvaal, and not in a coalition, we get things done. And indeed, our blueprint for getting things done is our manifesto. You can allude me if I can continue with the 7 pillars of our manifesto.
I'll come back to the 7 pillars in a moment. Just want some practical solutions that people need on the ground at this particular. Gopolang, a suggestion that the Makufe land is ideal for housing, proper type of housing for the people of Mangaung. What's the EFF's view on the underspending on the grant that is meant for urban settlement development?
One of the basic things that we are going to do when we get into council is to audit the land. Our people need land. The struggle against apartheid was about the land and the dignity of our people. And that has been reduced to one man, one vote. That was never about the struggle. The one man, one vote was never about our struggle. We need to definitely look into the land. And those are the things that we promise our people to say. Go out there and vote out the ANC and vote in the EFF so that we give you dignity, and the only thing that will give you dignity is property, and property will be with regard to owning the land. Now, one other thing that we are going to do, we are going to look at into the infrastructure, and because now we're not going to over-promise our people that we're going to do this and this, because I can tell you now for free that there isn't any money that is left within Mangaung municipality. And over-promising our people, it is not going to do anything for us. However, we need to build infrastructure, and the roads are in tatters in Mangaung. The firms in Tabanchu and in Botshabelo, they're standing there. Even here in Bloemfontein, they're just standing there. There's hopelessness in our municipality. Therefore, we need to create a conducive environment for investors to come here and invest in Mangaung, so that our people could be able to find jobs. Yeah. One other thing is skills audit, where we definitely, there's a municipality, I think it's in Ditsobota, whereby we are led by stupid, we are led by fools there, who don't even have qualifications. That is why our municipality today are in the state where we found ourselves into, whereby we found we are led by people with no matric, and those whilst our kids have PhDs and degrees, we are sitting at home doing nothing. Instead, we are hiring comrades because now because of the factionalism within the ANC. So we are asking our people, please go out there and vote for the EFF. The EFF is the only alternative for the poorest of the poor. Yeah. And what we can promise them is that the first cardinal pillar, which is expropriation of land without compensation, will definitely be implemented once we win the municipality of Mangaung.
How will you finish the Mushrik trunk route? It's been going on now since 2019. 36 million rands has been spent. As of 21st of February 2021, the project was not yet complete, at least indicating 60% completed. It's 14 months delayed.
Definitely. Like I've already said, we're going to look into the books and make sure that we have enough investors with regards to finishing the Mushrik road. Unfortunately, as we stand here, even if a municipality of Mangaung can be left with 1 rand, the ANC comrades are going to make sure that they loot 98 cents of that 1 rand for them to survive. So unfortunately, we are in the state that we are in, and we definitely have to look into the books of Mangaung to make sure that there's accountability, and people have to go to jail. Those who ate the money of our people have to go to jail. People, unfortunately, there's no accountability within Mangaung. That is the unfortunate state that we found ourselves into.
All right, that is Gopolang Lipale, therefore the economic freedom fighters, handing in, of course, their views tonight on how they are going to deal, for example, with finishing of projects that have not been finished, particularly considering that there is, of course, a lack of funds, and there is underspending on some substantial infrastructure grants. We'll get your views tonight. 072-110-5584. You can tweet us at Newzroom405. When we continue next, we want to hear from the Patriotic Alliance, who say they've got a little bit of audit experience under their belt that is cabined there, to tell us how they're going to deal with this question of misstatements, which has been picked up by the Auditor General. When we continue next, do stay with us. Come back live tonight on In Focus, Newzroom Afrika, channel 405, as we count down to the November 1st local government elections. With just 2 weeks left, we're looking at issues and challenges in the Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality, flagged as having a precarious financial and service delivery performance. position. National Caucus saying there is generally a deficit that is running there, but also huge financial risk. There are uncertainties as to whether this particular metro can be a going concern. What are your views tonight? Should the current administration be given another term, or is it time for some other party to take over? 072-110-5584. Let us in on your views tonight. Kevin, there is a report by the Auditor General that cites problems of misstatement. For example, percentages on completed repair and upgrading and maintenance work, the Soach-Span water works, treatment works. They're saying, no, it's 30% completed, as opposed to the target of 100%. But the Auditor General is saying there's lack of accurate or complete records to show that indeed 30% was done. The cleaning of reservoirs, for example, they're saying, no, 80% has been achieved. There's no evidence to say that has been achieved. Either there is just poor record keeping, or there is really misstatement here in order to conceal fraud or some sort of activity that is going on. What is your view around this misstatement, and how, as somebody with that audit background, could be able to help you?
First of all, when it comes to employing people, we really need to start employing people according to the quality of their craft and their qualifications. This thing of nepotism and putting people into positions who are our friends or family or their fellow comrades, that is something that really need to stop. We need to streamline the monitoring processes and the assessment processes for service delivery targets. If we look back over the years now, the tender system, before there was a tender system, we used to have the jobs within the municipality. Maybe we ought to think about, we as the PA would love to bring it back, those jobs to the municipality to control it, rather than give tenders where people can loot money, and there is where the most corruption occur. I think putting people into positions who are not qualified for certain jobs is the biggest problem, or has been hindering us a lot here in the municipality.
Kevin, Pani, there is a question around tenders, right, and whether or not it should be continuing to be a system that we use. So far, in the report, the Hawks are investigating 2 tenders that seemingly have gone wrong. One has got to do with the security services tender awarded in March 2019 up to February 2021. Another one has got to do with overtime payments to VIP bodyguards. These are the 2 cases that are being investigated by the Hawks, and clearly here, this is around tenders and the awarding of tenders. The Auditor General saying some of the contracts are awarded where the bidders did not score the highest points, but not only that, there is sometimes not even evidence of inviting competitive bids, particularly on contracts where there clearly was ample time and there was no need for emergency procurement. How are you, as the ATM, going to deal with the question of tenders?
I say...
that's for Pani, Kevin.
Okay, thanks, Thabo. We, as the African Transformation Movement, we have noted with concern such shenanigans that have been taking place within the Mangaung municipality. It is therefore where we decided that we, as the ATM, what we're going to bring, it's a transformed municipality. By saying so, we mean that we would like to have a peaceful municipality that is ethically governed and economically viable. What do I mean by that? We have seen that mostly the administration of the municipality gets affected by the squabbles and the infighting that is taking place, whereby the administration also does get affected and it takes a different route. It doesn't implement or apply the policies that they've agreed on that they need to implement as they are in power. We are also looking for a corrupt-free administration through lifestyle audits for councillors and officials. In that way, we will be able to avoid cases that you have mentioned now, whereby you find contracts being awarded unethically to companies or even individuals, I might say, who didn't even form part of the procurement processes that are supposed to take place in the Mangaung. That also leads to poor service delivery and poor performance in terms of completion of these projects that we have mentioned.
For someone wanting to vote, listening to you now, Pani, would say, okay, ATM is promising lifestyle audits. ANC is also promising lifestyle audits. What's different about your promise of lifestyle audits to the one that the ANC is promising?
Well, it's not the first time that we hear the ruling party promising such a case or such a situation that they want to implement. It has been said for the past 27 years, and the ATM is concerned that this issue has been raised several times, but it has never been implemented properly. Each and every, I might say, a group or a unit that comes into power within the ruling party, they always bring up this issue as their main point of focus. But when it comes to implementation, then it becomes a problem. So the ATM being the new kid on the block, we are definitely going straight with that point, whereby we will make sure that we professionalize this municipality. We're going to make sure that we get skilled officials employed in this municipality, those who will be protected from political patronage. Because if we can see, most of the government officials that we have, they are, I would say, politically deployed, of which doesn't have a meaning at the moment, since it has been implemented in such a way by the ruling party. And we'll also ensure that we have a sound financial management and internal controls, whereby it will help us to achieve clean audits and good governance.
Dr. Mononyane, the adjudication of tenders, what's the solution from COPE? Right? So some adjudication committees are apparently not composed in accordance with the regulations. And of course, we see some of these kind of contracts that go unmonitored and no accountability at all in terms of performance and deliverables.
We must understand that Mangaung is really a paradise of corruption. And even administrative officials who are working for Mangaung, they have been compromised. As a result, they are unable to exercise their capabilities to ensure that the job that they are being employed to do, they do that with dignity. If, as an official, you exercise, you do your work within the parameters of the law as required, you'll end up being suspended. And those who adhere to the interference of the politicians to execute the corruption, when things comes on board, get discovered, they will be removed from the Mangaung and get rewarded with other high posts somewhere in different departments of government. These are the issues. As a result, the tenders really that are being awarded, they are being awarded to contractors who cannot perform those duties. As a result, you can look at the example of the roads that are being under construction. For the past 3 years, the tender was awarded for a 1-year period. It should have been completed within 1 year. That has not been completed. It's still running now. You employ the contractor today, tomorrow is the other one. What happens to the money? If it's not corruption, where has that money gone to? And you make mention of the underspending of conditional grants. Why these grants are not being spent on time, particularly the ones for urban settlement? We have resolved the issue of land parcels in Mangaung for the past 5 years. Nothing has been done in those land parcels. And we are still cheating with people who need residential land. ANC has failed to provide that, despite the fact all the land is available for them to provide the land.
Right. Dr. Barnard Mononyane of COPE, thank you very much for that contribution. Let's quickly look at your WhatsApp messages tonight, and then we'll get some closing statements from the various parties. Fetsi in Buchabelo saying, I'm not surprised that the ANC didn't show up. They failed the people dismally. Nothing is functioning in Mangaung. PK in Bloemfontein saying the ANC has failed dismally. I think it's time to give another party, preferably an independent candidate, a chance to govern. And Tapelo in Mangaung saying, Yebo, I'm a card-carrying ANC member, but before it's too late, the ANC must step aside. All right, well, there you are. Some of the views tonight coming through on WhatsApp. Literally, we've got 30 seconds for some closing comments. Hardie, let's start with you. What are your closing remarks in the build-up to these elections, and as far as containing expenditure and focusing on service delivery?
Thank you very much, Tabu. Tabu, just the figures quickly. Currently, the outstanding debt owed to the Mangaung Metro is 7.158 billion rand. Our outstanding creditors, 885 million. If you just quickly do that mathematics, if we start collecting, this ANC-led municipality haven't collected outstanding debt for 27 years. That is why we are standing where we are standing. If they just collect what the state, province, and national is owing us, we're going to get 1.8 billion in. That is more than enough to pay our creditors. There's 1 billion left for service delivery. That's the maths, basic math, 101.
Gopolang,
the DA is the only party. Yes.
Okay, Gopolang, unfortunately we're out of time there, Hardie. How do we get back financial and service delivery performance in Mangaung?
Service delivery as soon as we
Hardie, that's for Gopolang. That's for Gopolang. Gopolang, go for it.
One of the things that we're going to do, we're going to abolish tenders. It's one of the cardinal pillar number 3. And we're going to make sure that we insource our people. The EPWP are going to be insourced. And for the people of Mangaung, we have 51 credible, uncompromised councillor candidates whom you will have to vote for, which are credible, and go out there and vote for the EFF. The EFF is the alternative. We have shown in the past that we can take the ANC head on. So
let's leave it there. Kevin, quick 30 seconds. How do we get Mangaung back into financial and service delivery performance?
We need to achieve a balance between eradicating all the backlogs and addressing it. Incomplete infrastructure we need to address also. We need to maintain. We also have to expand services to new developing regions. We have areas like Gopolang that don't even have sanitation and water. There's no electricity there. The aim is to expand services to that areas.
Pani, sorry. How do we get back performance in finances and in service delivery?
Tabo, I would say that over the past weekend, we had an opportunity to visit two wards within the Mangaung municipality, whereby we noted with concern the unemployment issue, as I stated earlier, that needs to be dealt with. We also, the ATM is also planning on the reopening of the closed factories in Botshabelo and Tabanchu. In that way, we will be able to attract, to uplift the local economy. By doing so, we will also be focusing on attracting investors like private companies that normally invest where there is a proper rule of law being applied. Our also focus is on the alleviation of crime, more especially in those wards that I mentioned that we managed to visit over the weekend. That there's a high crime rate in those two wards, but we need to capacitate and upskill our community policing forums.
Completely out of time, so let's leave it there. Dada Mononyane, a quick 30 seconds. How do we bring back financial and service delivery performance?
We are asking the community of Mangaung to give us a chance to lead this municipality. We'll make sure that we ensure that everything that has to be done in terms of finance is done in terms of the book. And all the procedures be followed. And we'll ensure that services are provided. Even those who are still saying that recently formalized settlement, they will make sure that the road access routes to their area is being cleared, so that much as they do not have a tarred road, but they must be able to access their homes, not only in Bloemfontein. But we'll ensure that.
We're out of time. Let's leave it there for tonight. Much appreciated, and thank you all for coming through. Hardie, Pani, Gopolang, and Kevin, and Dr. Barnard Mononyane there for us tonight. And thank you for giving us your views tonight. 072-110-5584. We'll do it again tomorrow as we continue in these conversations. Next.